but Salika will continue.
So, more people coming, going to join?
Yes, others will be coming. They usually join a little late, but they certainly will be here.
All right.
So if you wouldn't mind, we can start now and then they will join later. Or if you want us to play Bhajan for a couple more minutes.
I want to play Bhajan for a couple more minutes.
Okay, let's do that then.
Take your seat. We are going to read. Hurry up! Come here. I'm here. Do you know that Prabhupada didn't come to America by random chance? His whole life he was getting ready for that, and only after many trials he was able to fulfill his dreams. And now we're going to read about it. Prabhupada was born in Calcutta on September 1st, 1896. He was named Abhay Charan. His father's name was Gormahande and mother Rajani. Following the Bengali traditions, his parents invited an astrologist to cast child's horoscope. His parents got excited hearing a very favorable prophecy. The astrologer had predicted that when Abhay turns 70, he will cross the ocean, will open 108 temples, and will become a great religious preacher. Abhay's father was a successful fabric merchant. A part of his profit he donated to the temple where Lord Krishna was worshipped. This temple was in front of their house. Prabhupada grew up in the atmosphere of the love for God. His father was Krishna's devotee and had been dreaming of Abhay being a Vaishnava and preaching the teaching of Bhagavad Gita.
Srila Prabhupada was born in a Vaishnava family who were pure devotees of Lord Krishna. Right from the childhood, he grew up in the atmosphere of serving Krishna. This philosophy is more than 5,000 years old. It is based on Vedic scriptures. There are millions of temples in India where people have been worshiping Krishna for thousands of years. Traditionally, the knowledge is passed along the parampara, which is succession from a spiritual master to a disciple. Prabhupada belonged to one of these branches, which is called Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in this parampara 500 years ago. He initiated the congregational chanting of the holy names of God, Hare Krishna.
We can start.
Okay, Hare Krishna, thank you.
All right. Gurave Gurachandaya Adhikatadalaye Krishnaya Krishnat Bhaktayata Bhaktaya Namo Naman Yanachimindasya Gana Gana Salakaya Jakshus Mutayana Tasmashi Grave Naham Narayana Namaskritya Narecha Vanarotaman Devam Sarasati Vyasam Tato Dayam Nasapaye Sabadresu Nicham Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Tamasloke Bhakti Bhavati Nastiki Ramani Jana Purani Bharati Tata Hado Andyanchamadi Hari Sabachaki Yati Mokam Karati Bachala Kangu Langarati Greya Yakripa Jaham Bande Sri Kurudinatana Paramani Madhava Dharma Pujita Katabota Paramoni Masam Satan Vegan Vastava Matava Fishu Tabatayoman Shiva Bhagavate Mahamuni Kitaki Bhai Para Isvara Sadi Oridi Abadu Vyati Trakitita Shanam Yashava Yashramanaya Krishna Paramapurushi Bhakti Utpadi Punsa Sukamoa Bhaya Baha Namamo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishnu Bhakti Namaste Sasakdevi Gurvani Pacharini Mrs. Shiva the Pashta Krishna Vanchaka Patrubhyascha Kripa Srini Vacha Patitana Pavana Vaishnavi Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Siva Shati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So I thank those who are online today at the Hare Krishna African Forum. I'm speaking from Vrindavan, India. Actually, I just got back to Vrindavan yesterday as I've been traveling in the southern part of the country, preaching. So, Vrindavan is always a very, very special place. Just by being here in Vrindavan, one automatically remembers Krishna. And Bhakti just becomes alive. Bhakti comes alive. So today, BHAGAVATAM class, Canto 1, Chapter 17, Text 12. This is Parikshit Maharaj speaking to the bull, the son of Shinadi, and who is said to be the representative of religious principles. The bull has 4 legs, but these 4 legs are being broken by the personification of Kali. So only 1 leg remains, which is the description of this Kali. Like all the 4 legs of religion are basically broken, have been cut. And only 1 leg is struggling, which is truthfulness. So this analysis has been given in this chapter, and the conversation between Parikshit Maharaj and the personified religion, the bull. So I read the text, the translation, and then the purport that Srila Prabhupada. And also, this class I'm going to divide it into 2. I will speak first about 30-35 minutes on this verse, and then the rest of the time I'll be speaking about Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Actually, yesterday was the appearance day of Bhakti Thakur that is being celebrated. I mean, I'm speaking about it today because we had some festivals, some appearances that overlap one another. Some overlapping of some appearances again. So, Ko-Rishcha Tabrata Padam Stream, Sura Beya Chatuspada, Mahabhuvan Stradisha Rashtra, Ragyan Krishna Nabhatinam. Ka, who is he? Avrishcha, cut off, Tava, Yo, Padan, legs, 3, Saurabiya, O son of Surabi, Chatupada, you are 4-legged, Ma, never to be, Bhuvan, it so happened, Twadrishaha, as yourself, Rashtre, in the states, guardian of the kings, Krishna Anubatinam. Those who follow the course of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Translation of Prabhupada. He, Parikshit Maharaj, repeatedly addressed and questioned the Buddha thus, O son of Surabhi, who has cut off your 3 legs? In the state of the kings, who are obedient to the laws of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, there is no one as unhappy as you. Purpose. The kings or the executive heads of all states must know the codes of Lord Krishna. Generally, Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, and must act accordingly in order to fulfill the mission of human life, which is to make an end to all miseries of material conditions. One who knows the codes of Lord Krishna can achieve this end without any difficulty. In the Bhagavad Gita, in a synopsis, we can understand the codes of Godhead. And in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the same codes are explained for them. In a state where the codes of Krishna are followed, no one is unhappy. Where such codes are not happy, the first sign is that 3 legs of the representative of religion are cut off, and thereby all miseries follow. When Krishna was personally present, the codes of Krishna were being followed without question. But in his absence, such codes are presented in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam for the guidance of the blind persons who happen to be at the hand of all affairs. Kovischa Tavapadan stream, Surabeya Chatuspada. Abhuvan Stadishara Sri Regina Krishna Novatinam. He, Mahaparishi, repeatedly addressed and questioned the bull thus, O son of Surabhi, who has cut off your 3 legs? In the state of the kings who are obedient to the laws of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, there is no one as unhappy as you. So Parikshit Maharaj is talking, addressing the bull, who is the personified religion. Because as Parikshit Maharaj, as he was touring his country, after he was the emperor, there was a time when the whole world was under one government. That was just one government, and the capital was Hastinapur, which is presently New Delhi, India. So basically, it was said that the world is ruled from this place. But from time to time, the kings will survey, the country. We go around to see how everyone is doing in the country, mainly to make sure that people are not breaking the religious principles. Because when people are breaking the religious principles, no one is happy. Society will be unhappy, basically, if religious principles are being followed. And in a proper society, in a proper kingdom, everyone's supposed to be happy. there should not be any wanting. There should be sufficient security. Everyone is secure. Security, which means there'll be no such a thing as terrorism and other things. And everyone have sufficient food, dwelling, everything. Everyone has sufficient everything. The whole society is peaceful, and also there is enough grains. And if the earth is not producing sufficient grain, then it's up to the king to address the situation. Just like when Prithu Maharaj, King Prithu, during his time, actually King Prithu is said to be the Adiraj, original king. And also he happened to be the incarnation of Lord. But Prithu Maharaj, he came as a perfect king, a dutiful king. So when the earth was not producing sufficient grain, sufficient foodstuff, so Prithu Maharaj decided to punish the heart, because it's not supposed to be. In a proper kingdom, when everyone is following the religious principles. So why should earth not be producing? Why should earth not be producing? Why should there be hunger in a kingdom whereby everyone is religious? So Prithu Maharaj, he decided to punish Mother Earth. See, Mother Earth is very powerful. She's not ordinary. If by merely shaking her body, we have earthquake. Okay. But a great king who knows his duty, to perform his duty perfectly, can actually take up the issue with Mother Earth. Why not producing? So King Prithu, he decided to actually punish Mother Earth. And what he did is that he took out his sword and said, okay, I'm going to punish you. So Mother Earth, she came before the king, said, oh, you don't have to do this. You don't have to throw your swords, your arrows at me. And then, of course, the Mother Earth, she assumed the form of a cow. And then, with the bull, told Prithu Maharaj to simply tilt the ground. So in this way, the earth was very cooperative. But if you want to compare what goes on in those days and what is going on now, we see that the leaders, they are completely ungodly. The leaders are not godly. So because the leaders are not godly, the citizens are also not godly. Everyone simply acting according to their particular whims. Everyone is acting according to their particular. No one is following the injunctions given by God. In the verse we're reading today, he said, HARE KRISHNA, which means in a kingdom, in a state, the rules which are set aside by the Supreme Lord and is supposed to be followed by everyone, but this is not what is happening. Everyone simply following their own whims. Their own whims, that's it. Their own whims of speculation. And that's why many parts of the world today, there's no sufficient food. Now, even the most advanced society now, they are talking of the starvation, hyperinflation, which is actually artificially created. It's all artificial. So-called inflation is completely artificial. like Europe, even America also, so much drought everywhere. So much drought. When there's drought, which means there'll be no water. So many rivers are being dried up. Many rivers are getting dried up. So if the rivers dried up, which means there'll be no river. And if there's no river, which means agriculture produce become very difficult. There'll be no agriculture produce because there's no rain. There's no water, the ground is not sufficient, it's not moistened enough to grow food items. So therefore the life becomes very, very difficult. Even though the present leaders, they are making so many conferences, so many meetings, so many symposiums, just to address the issue. We have a so-called climate change, the climate issues. The people are not following the orders of God. What is so-called climate change? What are you going to change? The climate has been the same, the way it has always been since the beginning of creation. The climate has been the same. But if people follow the orders of God, there'll be cooperation between the environment and also the citizen. The cooperation will be there. But nowadays it's not there because no one is following the laws of God. Everyone think that because the rulers are come to themselves, they don't follow. The rulers don't follow, so therefore the citizen also don't follow. Because it's up to the citizen, is the leader who makes sure that the citizens are following the principle. Just like when during the time of King Prithvi Maharaj. So Prithvi Maharaj, after establishing the situation whereby the earth sufficiently produce what is needed for human habitat, for human maintenance, what is needed, then he instructs his citizens that yes, my dear citizens, you have to follow the religious principles. He showed the citizen the religious course of the law, which must be followed. And if anyone don't follow it, that person is subject to punishment. Just like HARE KRISHNA Maharaj was going. He was going about his kingdom and he saw this useless Sudra, this Sudra man, who's considered to be the personification of Kali, abusing a cow and the bull, abusing them. So Parashima was surprised that how could this be my kingdom? How could this be my kingdom? In my kingdom, everyone is religious in my kingdom. Everyone's religious. But look at this low-class man beating cow, beating bull, breaking their legs. How could this be? So he was ready to kill this fellow. He was ready to kill him. He said, no, this kind of person cannot be in my kingdom. That is Idea King. Idea King is the one that makes sure everyone follow the laws of God. That is the idea, the Idea King. But nowadays it's not, just like we have a situation now in England whereby the Queen of England died, and then the king isn't going to assume the throne. But we find that in the kingdom, people are not happy in the kingdom. Only little bit of people have enough. The majority of the citizens, they don't have. It's lack of necessities of life. So what kind of kingdom is that? What kind of kingdom is that? And what the present rulers, what they don't also realize is that because they don't care how the citizen acts, so whatever, all the impious activities of the citizen, the leaders have to share that. just like Prabhupada mentioned, is actually there in the scripture in the book also, that a leader will share 1/6 of all the sinful reactions of the citizen. Just imagine 1/6. When you have millions and millions of citizens, and you're going to share 1/6 of that. So just imagine what is waiting for you in your next life. And conversely, if the citizen act nicely, then you also get 1/6 of their piety. You get 1/6 of that. But this is not what is happening nowadays. This is not what's happening. So we find that nowadays, many people, they are scrambling to be the leaders. They are scrambling to be the president, to be the prime minister. You know, they are scrambling, just like in Nigeria now, they are getting ready for the presidential election. And everybody there, their political parties, they are scrambling to say, okay, I want to be the leader. I want to be I'm the one who's qualified to be the president. But none of them is talking about what is the real need? What is the need of the people? The need of the people is not just to provide, food and security. Of course, that's the main thing. But the people must be religious. Religiosity must be there. People must be dharmic. Dharma means religion. So people must know what is the principles of religion, what is the rules which have been set aside by God, and how to follow those rules. And if it's not there, how can life be great? So therefore, we have so many imbalance in the atmosphere. So many imbalance in the atmosphere. Rain is in balance. The excessive heat, excessive cold. The climate is very, very imbalanced. Make life very, very miserable. Very cold, very hot, flood everywhere. But it's not supposed to be like that way. In a righteous society, it's not supposed to be that way. In a righteous society. In the old days, during the time when everyone is following the principles of religions, in those days, the rain will not fall in the daytime. The rain will only fall nighttime when people are taking rest. The rain will, it's not that there be enough rain to devastate the land. The rain will fall in the nighttime when people are taking rest, so that no one will be inconvenienced by falling of the rain. So which we don't even talk, which means there'll be no such thing as flood or whatever it is that's happening nowadays. But even though all these problems is going on, but the leaders, they don't know the solution. All they can talk about is climate change. Climate, what do you call it? This so-called excessive crowd. I forgot the famous word they are using for nowadays. They are making so many conferences. They have the Paris Accord. So many conferences they are making. Even those who are making all those agreements, we find, because each of them, they have their own particular self-interest. They have their own particular selfishness. Even if they are making all these so-called agreements, nobody's following it. Nobody's following it. And those who want to so-called follow it are those who want to look for the opportunity for exploitation, whereby they want to find a way to make lots of money. So many corporations are making billions. Okay, my light has gone up, but I'm on the let me see. I have some backup here. All right, I have a backup. This is in there. Especially this time is it's after 9 o'clock. Sometimes we have these problems. But I should be gone because I'm on the UPS. So but the light will come back very soon. So, and the corporations, they are the one making big amount of money on all this so-called climate accord. Big corporations, they're making billions and billions and billions of dollars. And they are the one who are pumping lots of money into the politicians so that the politicians can make all these rules, you know. Because there's a big lobby by which all these big corporations, they are sponsored the lobbies, and they are giving millions and millions of dollars to the lawmakers. So they give millions and millions of dollars to the lawmaker so that this lawmaker can pass all these ridiculous laws. So it's all like just another form of exploitation. So therefore, one of our great Acharya, he said, this world is a land of exploitation, where one person simply wants to exploit another person. Nobody really have anybody's good interest at heart. No. Unless a devotee, only a devotee of Krishna has good interest of another person at heart. Otherwise, the non-devotees, they don't. So in Bhagavatam, it said that what's that? Yashyasi Bhakti, Yashyasi Bhagavati Bhakti Akinchana. What's that? Aro Abhaktasya Gun. I know there's one verse which mentioned that the non-devotee have no good quality, whereas the devotee of Krishna has all the good qualities of the demigods combined. Whereas non-devotees have no good quality because the non-devotee, they act on the basis of mental speculation. Whereas a devotee of the Lord, they follow the orders of the Lord. They follow the orders of the Supreme Lord. So therefore, they are the real persons by whom the Lord is pleased with. So mention here Ragyan Krishna Nuvatinam. So Ragya means kingdom. Means a state of the kingdom. Ragya. So Anuvatinam, Krishna Nuvatinam, following the course of the Supreme Lord. And what is that? The course of the Supreme, the laws of the Supreme Lord. The course of law which have been set aside in the scriptures. So the Lord said that I established the principles of religion, and this is meant to be followed. So those who don't follow it, they're in a big then they have to follow the consequence. Those who don't follow. So this is what has been mentioned here in these scriptures. So which means the human life, this material world is full of miseries, is full of suffering. But those who follow the course of the law, the rules of the law, which have been set by the Lord, they can actually end the difficulty of life. They can end the difficulties of life. So if there's a such kingdom where people are properly following, then you can rest assured that such kingdom people will be happy in such kingdom. But the unfortunate thing is that such kingdom is not there. It's utopian only. You know, this is what we call Ram Rajya. Ram Rajya means the kingdom of Ram. Ram is the God, is Lord Ramachandra, is such kingdom. In such kingdom, all the citizens are happy, everyone is happy. In such kingdom, nothing is wanting. Everyone have everyone have what is needed to survive, what is needed to be happy. Why? Because everyone follow the laws of God. And also it's always the duty of the monarch, the king, the head of state, to make sure to see from time to time, must have to do some kind of a check to see what is going on in the kingdom. Just like when one time Lord Ramachandra, when he was he was incognito. He was going around the city, incognito, going around the city, trying to see what is the mentality of the citizen. What is their mentality? Normally, the citizen, they all adore Lord Chandra. They all feel protected under him. They all feel protected that yes, he's an ideal king. But sometimes you may know there may always be some persons who may be gossiping about the, about the king. So one time, Lord Ramachandra, he was going about, it was nighttime. So he was going, trying to see what is going on, what is people's mentality. And then as he was going, he came across a conversation of a washerman and his wife. A conversation. And in this conversation, the washerman, apparently his wife had gone to spend the night somewhere, maybe with a relief or something. She has gone to spend the night. And then she returned home. But when she returned home, the husband became angry. He said, where have you gone? Why have you left the house? Even though the wife explained to him that, oh, I've gone this and that, they said, no, you've left the house. And because you've left the house, I'm not going to allow you to come back. I'm not going to allow you to enter the house again. So the wife said, what is this? What do you mean you're not going to allow me to enter the house again? And the man said, look, I'm not a henpecked husband. I'm not like I'm like Ramachandra, who allowed his wife who had been kidnapped by someone, who stayed away from him for almost a year, who allowed his wife to come back home. I'm not like him. So therefore, I will not allow you to come back home. It's kind of stupidity, of course, because this person is a washerman, happen to be ignorant. But when Lord Ramachandra heard this conversation, so he said, oh, so some people in the kingdom, they have this such mentality towards me that even though Ravan never really touched Sita Devi, and also the fact is that Ravan did not even kidnap the real Sita, because the real Sita was kept with Agnidev, and it was a false Sita, an illusory Sita that was taken by Ravan. Still, despite all this, so this sort of mentality was there. So Lord Ramachandra said, well, so I've been criticized because my wife was kidnapped. And then after rescue, I had to bring back my wife. So this happened. So therefore, he decided to exile his wife. He decided to exile Mother Sita. So therefore, Mother Sita, she went to the ashram of making money. So even though Mother Sita went there, of course, it's a whole story of Rama. It's a whole story. But the main thing that I will not get into the story, but the main thing is that how a king has to be very ideal. Make sure he himself follow the religious principles, and also make sure that the citizens are also following. If the citizens don't follow, then any citizen who do not follow, that person is immediately brought to task. That's a kingdom. And if you can find such a kingdom, then people will be happy. The citizen will be happy if you can find such kingdom. So throughout the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord emphasized these principles of religion. And also through the Bhagavatam, there's so many histories. So many histories of sages, of kings. It's called a Vansacharita. Vansacharita means the history of dynasties. It's one of the major portion of the Purana. So in this case, Bhagavatam. So Vansacharita, which means the histories of dynasties, of the empires, of the emperors, their histories are narrated in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And then by reading, listening to hearing all these various personalities, then we can learn something from their life. In the 7th canto of Bhagavatam, Narada Muni explained very, very vividly the life of a king in terms of the role of a king, the role of the kingdom, what must be followed, and especially the Varnashram principles. So this was very, very vividly explained, and also in the life of Prithu Maharaj. This you can also read the life of Prithu Maharaj in the 4th canto. So the life of Prithu Maharaj is also successful in terms of the property. And also this chapter we are reading now, the next chapter, in Prabhupada's purport, Prabhupada is going to be explaining in terms of the proper execution of the kingdom, how a kingdom can actually, how the kingdom can function in terms of. So in this chapter, throughout the purport are very, very deep. Prabhupada wrote so many nice, wonderful purports in this chapter and also in the next chapter of this 1st canto Bhagavatam. In terms of how a kingdom or a state can properly function if everyone simply follow the orders of the Lord. And that's why we as devotee preachers, we should be meeting the rulers. That we should not be meeting the rulers for photo opportunity, which most devotees do, so they can get some photo. We should meet the rulers to preach to them, to really preach to them. That's what Srila Prabhupada will do. Srila Prabhupada, when he was in India, arrangement was made for him to meet Indira Gandhi. That Indira Gandhi was ruling India at that time. She was the prime minister. So Srila Prabhupada put a whole point, a whole series of points, which he was going to tell her to follow. And of course, we know that nowadays, the ruler, they're not going to listen. They're not going to listen anyway. No matter what the saintly person does, nowadays they will not listen. This is the stage. This is the stage of the present stage of life that we are in. The rulers, they don't listen to what the sadhus have to say. Whereas in the previous days, they will listen. The previous days, whenever any ritual sages come to the palace, it was a great welcome, welcome. And nowadays, it's never like that nowadays. It's never like that. So, as I said, beginning of the class, I was requested by Sadi Prabhu to say something about Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur he was said to be the 7th Goswami. The 7th Goswami. There are 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan who are like technically, they usually addressed as the disciples of Sri Chaitanya Prabhu. Even though Jiva Goswami, he hardly spent any time. Jiva Goswami really, he never spent time in Chaitanya Prabhu. He was the nephew of Sri Rupa and Sri Sanatana Goswami. His father was Anupa Mani, who passed away on the street of Vrindavan. So except Jiva Goswami, who never really spent time with Chaitanya Prabhu because he was young, that he was extremely young. He was hardly 20 years old. He was just like a teenager when Mahaprabhu left the planet. When Mahaprabhu disappeared. So there are 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan who are given the responsibility to write the devotional scriptures and also to excavate, to locate and excavate all the holy places of pilgrimage where Lord Sri Krishna performed his pastimes when he was here 12,000 years ago. So therefore, the Goswamis, they are known as the Rajana Priya Priya Karao. They are very, very dear to all entities. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he was addressed as the seventh Goswami. One of his contemporary, his name was Shishu Kumar Ghosh. Shishu Kumar Ghosh, he wrote a letter to Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And in that letter, they said that yes, you are none actually, you are none better than this. You actually, we should call you the seventh Goswami. That's what we should call you. Because Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, his pen never at rest. He started writing since he was born in 1838. That's when he was born in West Bengal. But by the time he was 20 years old, he had started writing. And he never stopped writing until he passed away. He was born in 1838 and he passed away in 1940. So which means he stayed for, I think, 74 years, something like that. 1838 to 1940. That is 76 years. That's the time he spent on this planet. And he was the one who actually revived the preaching movement of Lord Sri Chaitanya Prabhu. So he revived it because there was a time when the Gaudiya Vaishnavism had become practically like a joke. It has become like a society of beggars during the late 1800s. It has become like a society of beggars because the real preachers, the real like Babaji's, they don't preach anymore. And only people who are simply taking advantage of Nam Sankirtan, and they simply they go house to house, they perform Nam Sankirtan just to collect donation for their maintenance. And so as such, Gaudiya Vaishnavism, it lost respect in society. It lost all the respect in society, especially in West Bengal. So it was Bhaktivinoda Thakur who actually revived the Gaudiya Vaishnavism. In his secular life, he became a magistrate court, a magistrate judge. This was a time when the British, when they were ruling India. So he became a magistrate court, a magistrate judge. And then he will go to court in the morning and then come back late afternoon. When he come back, he will eat, take shower, and then start writing. And they start writing until at like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And then we take little rest, maybe 1 or maybe 2 hours rest, and then they start writing again. So he never stopped writing. So his pen never rests. His pen never rests. Constantly writing. Writing, but what was he writing? He was writing devotional scriptures. And he was such a powerful spiritual personality that he will never allow any so-called, because there was a time whereby there's always so many incarnations. Just like Srila Prabhupada said that in the West, they produce so many cars. But in India produced so many gods. Everywhere you go, somebody will say, well, Bhagavan this, Bhagavan that, Bhagavan this, Bhagavan that. So you see so many Bhagavans all over the places. It still goes on nowadays, but still goes on nowadays. Because people are so simple-hearted here in India. So therefore, they easily accept anyone who has got some little mystic power. And they easily accept such a person as some God. So there was one person, his name was Bishik, his name was Bishik or something like that. So this person, he called himself, he was a yogi, so he called himself incarnation of Mahavishnu. That is the incarnation of Vishnu. Because, he has got a big, long hair, and he can produce so many, he can produce fire from his head. So many things like that. So he's got so many people worshiping him because it's called the incarnation of God. In night time, he performing dancing with the ladies. He performing dancing with other men's wife. So if you do some of the first activity, so this information got to the ear of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, that there's this fellow here, he's calling himself incarnation, and then he's having so many dealings with the women, other people's wives. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he decided to arrest this person because he was the chief magistrate. So he has the power to deal with this thing. It's okay. I'm going to have to teach this fellow a lesson. But many people, they say, no, hey, Thakurji, you cannot do this. This person, he can create so much damage because he was a very powerful person. You cannot do this. You cannot do this to him. But Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he wanted to teach this fellow a lesson. So he decided to arrest him. And then when he was arrested, this thing, and then he told Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he said, oh, you don't know what you have done? You arrested me, you don't know what you have done? Your whole family is going to be wiped out. I'm going to wipe out your whole family. So, but even though it was such a chaos, but Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is a pure devotee of Krishna. So what happened is that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, when he was supposed to arrest this fellow, so he took Bhagavatam. So he took some Bhagavatam, along with some constables, some policemen. He went to the ashram of this yogi. And then this yogi was arrested somehow. But he was creating so much trouble. Even so many persons in the family of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, so many of them became ill. Many of them became healed. Even though Bhaktivinoda Thakur also became healed, but he has got the Bhagavatam with him. So he was reading Bhagavatam. And then when this yogi was brought to the court, so one British officer, so he cut off his hair. So he removed his hair. So because this yogi, all his power was actually conserved within his hair. It was conserved. So the moment his hair was removed, so this yogi, he fell on the ground. He became powerless. And then ultimately, everyone in the Thakur's family, they all became very, very well. And so eventually this fellow, he killed himself while in jail. So in this way, he was able to, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he was able to address the issue of all the false incarnations. And then also, now the greatest act, some of the greatest acts performed by Bhaktivinoda Thakur is his boldness in spreading the Nam Sankirtan. And according to him, he said that this Nam Sankirtan is not the affairs of the Indians alone. He said it's not the affairs of the Indians alone. This is something that is actually belong to the whole world. This is something that he said a time will come, he said one day is gonna come whereby all the different nationalities, Europeans, Americans, Africans, Chinese, and everyone, he said one day everyone will gather one day here in Mayapur, and everyone will gather in Mayapur, and then they will raise up their hand along with their Bengali brothers, and they will chant Nam Sankirtan. They will chant Nam Sankirtan, say Haribo, Haribo, Nam Sankirtan. So he made this prediction. And then many things. And he also produced a son because he wanted someone who can really forcefully, only preach the message of Mahaprabhu to the humanity. So therefore, he prayed to Lord Jagannath that, my dear Lord, I want a son. I want a son that can boldly preach a message. I want a son that can boldly, preach a message. So therefore, I sent me such a son. And in answer to his prayer, Sulabh Accidental was born. And when he was born, he was called Bimla Prashad. Because Bimla is a deity in the temple of Jagannath. In the temple of Jagannath, it was considered to be incarnation of Lakshmi. So this son was born as the message of the Lord. And then on the day of the Rath Yatra, when the Yatra was coming, and the house of Thakur, the house was just on the path of the Rath Yatra. In Jagannath Puri, there's a grand road where the Jagannath parade of Jagannath. It's a 3 miles long distance. So the house of Bhakti Thakur is on the way. So when the cart of Jagannath, when it reaches in front of the house of Bhakti Thakur, the rat just stopped. The rat will not move. The cart will not move. So taking this opportunity, the wife of Bhakti Thakur, he took the baby, accidentally that I gave him a he took the baby to the cart, to the feet of Lord Jagannath, and as she put the baby to the feet of Lord Jagannath, the big garland fell down on top of the baby. So which means this actually the confirmation that yes, this baby is an answer to the prayer of Bhakti Thakur. So, and Sulabh Bhakti Thakur wrote so many books, so many of them. Fortunately for me, I've been able to have the translation, to translate and publish many of these books of Sulabh Bhakti Thakur. I have a website called touchthemedia.com. You can see many of the books there. The major one is what we call, the major one is Javadharma. Javadharma is a book which actually contains the science of Krishna consciousness. Anything you want to know about Vaidhi Bhakti, Raghunaga Bhakti, Bhava Bhakti. This book is the way if you actually want to really go into the in-depth study of Krishna consciousness. So this is a book that you have to get called Bhakti Vinovani. No, there's one book called Bhakti Vinovani Vaibhav, which we compiled and published some years ago. And in this book, this is all the teachings of the Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. This is the teachings. And let me see. Let me see if I can get the. Anyway, this is just something. If I can get a picture, I thought I could get a picture here. Before I change the button, okay, it's gonna change. That's a very wonderful book because this book is done in a question and answer format, whereby it contains 108 chapters. So question and answer format, because everything before it's contained all the Guru Tattvas, because the philosophy of Krishna consciousness is divided into 3 sections. One section is Sambandha. Sambandha means our relationship with Krishna, our relationship, Sambandha. That's one section. And another section is called Abhidheya. Abhidheya is the practice of Krishna consciousness, or Bhakti Sadhana Bhakti Abhidheya. And then the third one is Prayojan. Prayojan means the goal of life. What is our life's prospects? So therefore you have Sambandha, Abhidheya, and Prayojan. This is the old theology, or the teaching of Krishna consciousness is divided into these 3. So this book, Bhaktivinoda Bhagavatam, is divided into these 3 sections. It has 108 chapters. And then another prediction made by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he said that a time will come when all religion will merge into one. The time will come when all religion will merge into one, and everyone will merge into Brahma Buddha Sampradaya. Because after all, God is one. God is one, and everyone is meant to love God. Everyone is meant to love God. And now, in this pursuit of loving God, we have so many different ideologies, so many different ideologies there. And all these various ideologies seems to confuse the people. Because there are all kinds of, for example, in Vaishnava Sampradaya, we have 4 Vaishnava Sampradayas. Among each of the 4 Vaishnava Sampradayas, each one also have so many subgroups, so many subdivisions. Even our ISKCON society, we have so many different divisions. It's not all one. So because many authorities are there, because you have many authorities, there you have so many ideas. And when there are so many ideas, even though all the many ideas, they are pointing out to the same goal, which is to develop love of God. But because you have many ideas, the neophyte practitioners, they seem to get confused. They get confused by all these many ideas. The many practitioners. So therefore, back in Thakur was saying, he was predicting, say a day will come when all different religious thoughts, different sampradayas, they will all come into one. They will all merge into one, to this Brahma Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradayas. He said that day will come. So which means we don't have to say, oh, I'm a Christian, I'm a Muslim, I'm a Hindus, I'm this, I'm that. Everything is going to come to one day. And of course, I don't know when that is going to come. But this is the vision of the Thakur. Many of his predictions already come through. The prediction of when all the Vaishnava from different parts of the world will come and dance together in Mayapur. So that already came. So many other predictions are there, but this particular prediction, that day is surely bound to come. And that will come about in the preaching of the devotees of the Vaishnavas. in their preaching, but that preaching has to be selfless preaching. Selfless preaching. Not that trying to point out how my idea is the best one, or I am better than the other. When there's a selfless preaching, devotee is no longer preaching, there's no longer consideration of what is beneficial to oneself. When there's that, when the mentality is simply the satisfaction of Krishna, Krishna Anusilanam, whereby everything is strictly for the purpose of satisfying Lord Krishna. When that kind of preaching starts, then we can talk about unifying the whole world when we're able to preach selflessly. So thank you very much for listening. So I'm going to stop here. So if there is any question, you can please go ahead. Question or comments? Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, thank you so much for this beautiful class. I didn't know the time they've left. We were chatting just a few minutes ago. So thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the beautiful class. We really appreciate. And I think before any other thing, let me use this opportunity to appreciate and thank you for the work you've done in terms of searching out and publishing books of the Acharyas. This is a great service because there is nothing better that one can offer to the functional community that to make available the works of the previous Acharyas. So we thank you so much in that regards. And we pray that Guru and Krishna will continue to empower you in that regards. Thank you so much, Prabhu. So on the topic of today, of course, by the time we finish this discussion, I'm going to be sharing a video, which I will request that almost all of us, if possible, to wait. It's just about 5 minutes, the video, in commemoration of the passing away of the, just in a kind of a social integration kind of with the world. We all had the news yesterday of the passing away of the longest serving England and the Elizabeth II. And then so many international religious organizations have been commemorating and then making online speeches. And then so there's a small 5 minutes video which we will use to dedicate to that at the end of this class. So I request finish chanting the normal Hare Krishna, we should wait so that we can watch that video together. That kind of commemoration. We'll close the class after that. So now we're going to today's question and answer sessions. I'm Simona already, and I'm doing it. Prabhu, please kindly unmute and ask a question. Are you there?
Hare Krishna.
Okay, yeah, bro. Dandavat Pranam.
Yeah, go on.
Okay, thank you. So in the course of your lecture, you may mention that what the but the home, and we as a devotees, we know we already have the know-how as a matter of
know what?
We ourselves, we are facing the challenges in terms of leadership. So how can we I
cannot hear you. Are you able to hear him?
Yeah, it's breaking. This line is breaking back.
Yeah, because it's break your voice. We have to have premature connection.
Okay. Prabhu, can you hear me now? Am I audible now?
Well, you can hear you and sometimes you get breaking. Okay, can just repeat your question? Repeat your question.
Okay, there, thank you. What I mean, in the course of your lecture, you made mention that as a devotee, you have to preach to the world leaders. And she said that charity begins at home. And we as the devotees, we have the know-how in terms of leadership. But here lies the case, we ourselves, we are facing the challenges in terms of leadership. So how can we affect the whole world? I don't know if I'm audible now.
Yeah, audible, yeah.
This is going to go.
I hope
So
my question is clear.
yeah, I got your question. So basically,
Okay,
he's
thank
saying.
you.
So you basically saying that in order to preach, we have to preach to ourselves first. If I can get the gist of your question, that devotees themselves, they have difficulty in terms of acceptance within among each other. So,
Yes.
Correct?
Yes, that's the question. That is it.
Okay. So the main thing, which is of course you are correct. First of all, in devotee in his heart, a devotee never really think himself to be a devotee, because we don't really we call ourselves, we are trying to be devotees. Because the word bhakta is a very deep word actually. But somehow we tend to take the things for granted when we say devotee. We are not devotee, we are trying to be devotee. That was called Dr. Praya, which means trying to be devotees. Because devotee is the one who is very, very dear to Krishna. Very, very dear. Someone who's actually developed, who actually have love of God. That's a bhakta and devotee. But we tend to be devotee. And because we tend to be devotees, so we are like patients in the hospital. So patients in the hospital will display so many symptoms. And also when you're in the hospital, sometimes you're okay, sometimes it's not good, sometimes not, sometimes you're okay, sometimes you're not okay. And also those patients in the hospital, they also respond to the treatment differently. You know, everyone will respond to the treatment differently. It's not the same. So, which means those that who go to the hospital and then they get immediate treatment, and those who just they continue stay longer for the month, for longer time. So we find that among our devotees, first of all, as devotees, we tend to take each other for granted. We take each other for granted, so we don't take each other serious. Why we take each other for granted? Because of familiarity. As they say, familiarity breeds contempt. Actually, one of our great Vaishnava sadhu, a great personality, was saying that the best way for association among devotees is not to be close to one another, is to maintain the mood of service towards one another, not so much the mood of camaraderie or the mood of friendship, because the mood of friendship between one another creates what do you call it? It creates familiarity. And when this familiarity is created, so what happens is that the tendency not to take each other serious is there. The tendency to fault finding is always there. Fault finding and all that. This is all because of familiarity. So therefore, an aspiring Vaishnava will maintain distance from one another. We maintain distance and the way a devotee associates with another devotee is through the mode by having a servitude service mode towards another devotee. So, because we take each other for granted too much, so therefore, the leadership among the devotees community is not always, it's not always appreciated in leadership because of so much familiarity and taking each other for granted. That's what the leadership is not so much appreciated. And also, the leaders themselves, many leaders, they themselves, they have envy in their hearts. And many leaders tend to overlook or condescend upon general devotees. Many tend to do that. And also devotees they also have a similar mood and attitude towards the leader. So therefore so it becomes very difficult. But again, if a sincere devotee have the mood of servitude, just another devotees, we can be in a situation whereby that can diminish. Because the leader is supposed to be appreciated. Leaders in the Vaishnava community are supposed to be appreciated. But it has to be, let's say, give and take. It has to be, just like when we are serving Krishna, when we are meant to serve Krishna. But when you see that those pure servants of Krishna, they also been served by Krishna also. They also get the service from Krishna. Even though Krishna is God, but God also serving his devotees. So within our community, it's not that only one person is the leader, is the master, who is to be served, and everybody else just the servants. No. Everybody, including the leader, see each other as servants of the other person. And then we simply see how we can benefit one another. But the preaching to the leaders of society is actually very, very critical. It's much needed. But again, as you say, that we want to give charity, let the charity begins at home. So we have to make sure that we are completely balanced in ourselves. We are balanced so that when we are completely balanced, when we go outside, that can reflect upon the people. Because you cannot talk about peace if we don't have peace among ourselves. We cannot talk of peace if there's no peace within. If there's always agitation, within us. If there's agitation within us. So how are we going to encourage others? So that agitation must be removed, and that is by taking shelter of the Lord, taking shelter of Chaitanya Prabhu, taking shelter of Guru and Krishna, and really, really intensify our service attitude towards another. And how do you serve? How do you have that service attitude towards one another? Srila Rupa Goswami mentioned this, how devotee can serve one another. He said, the dati pradinati, goyan akyati pechati, Bhakti Bhujate Chaiva, Savidam Bhakti Lakshana. So he's talking Savidam pretty Lakshana. He's talking about the lovers, how the ornament, Lakshana means the ornament. What are the devotional characteristics among the devotees? Which means the dati pravidnati, which means they offer obeisances constantly too. And they also receive obeisances. The dati means to offer obeisances. Pratignati means to accept obeisances in return. Then goyam akyaja prichiti means to reveal one's mind to another devotee and to ask confidential question from another devotees. I ask you a question, you reply to me, and you also ask me a question, I reply to you. This is what we call going akyaja prichiti. And then bhakti bhujayati chaiva. Bhakti means to offer prasad. To offer prasad. You can always take a bowl of prasad and go and give to another devotees. And then Bhajati Chaiva, which means other devotees also do the same thing for you. This is what we call loving exchanges, loving exchange. The loving exchange between devotees. Dadati Pragirinati, Gojana Kachi Prichiti, Bhakti Bhajati Chaiva. So we've done 6 items of loving devotional service. If we can base our devotional practice on these 6 principles alone, we will see the whole change in the Vaishnava society. And if there's a change in Vaishnava society, then we can preach nicely. We can preach nicely with fruit. It's not that we are preaching so that we can get followers. No, that's not preaching. We are preaching so that we can change the heart. But how are we going to change the heart if our heart is not changed itself? So that's the thing. So we have to follow the guidance of the Acharya this way. How we can change each other, then we can affect the society. Then we can really call ourselves the instrument of Lord Chaitanya Prabhu. We can be the Lord's instrument that way. Okay, so we put on our house in order, but try to be our example ourselves. We can start among each other. We can start instead of trying to be, envy of another devotee. If you say devotee who is growing nicely, then we should encourage that devotee. We should glorify that devotee's achievement in terms of advancement in Krishna consciousness. And it should be both ways. It should be both ways. It should be both ways. It's not that somebody's receiving praise. It's receiving praise, and the person is thinking that, oh, I deserve it. No, it should never be that way. We always have to see the goodness in every devotee. We have to see the goodness in them. The more we do that, the more our heart will clear, the more we will change. We will see the changes in ourselves. In devotee, there's only good in devotee, only goodness is there. But we have to see it. We cannot close our eye and try to see the goodness in devotees. But we have to see goodness in devotees always. We have to see it. Because anyone who has come to Krishna consciousness, they all, let's say, they are special. Anyone who has come to Krishna consciousness, they are special. Like Slab Accidental, we said that it takes about 8 gallons of blood to make one person a devotee. It takes about 8 gallons of blood. But by the same time, your word, your bad word can actually chase someone away. Just imagine. It takes 8 gallons of blood to make a devotee. And then if you say bad thing to that devotee and that devotee goes away, then what happened to, what have you done? It's like, which means all the labor which has been made to make someone devotee, that labor has been made to be waste. You see. So our acharyas, they've written so many wonderful literature so that we can have for this many of these lessons. Yes, we can change the whole world, but we have to change ourselves first. Hare Krishna. Can I hear you?
Hare Krishna.
You are speaking?
Thank you very much, Prabhu, for the beautiful answer. And Danam Prabhu, I think that answers your question. I think Prabhu took time to elaborate, answer that question. Thank you so much. From the angle which you took the question is very beautiful. And the first thing is that, yes, the Krishna consciousness is a kind of an hospital. Actually, sometimes most of us, we forgot this understanding. And we expect to see perfect Krishna conscious community. But forgetting at the most of the time that just like we had our analysis, we came from a very conditioned background. Others also come from that. So it's very difficult to find the perfect organization, even though our organization is a perfect organization. But then to find members of the organization perfect at all times also is a very difficult thing. So I like that angle where you come from.
The hospital is perfect, but the patient in the hospital are not perfect.
Exactly. So thank you very much for coming in from that angle. It's actually buttresses the point which most of us actually oftenly forget. So, and I think Nandini Nana Prabhu, Nandini, is that okay? I think it's not close. But so, any other question or comment from the devotees? Question,
Yeah,
comments?
thank you very much. Thank you. I'm close, but just a note. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, fine. Thank you. So, any other question from the devotees?
We have a lot of ladies here today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 messages.
Yeah.
Anything from the messages, ladies? You always shine asking questions.
Yeah. Maybe if I could ask you one simple question in regards to the preaching to the world leaders. In the course of your lecture, you mentioned that in answering the first question, also you mentioned that you need to talk to preach to the society leaders, and it seems that it is not like a kind of a focus for our movement these days. Though I've seen the ISKCON Communication Ministry most often times come out with a Krishna statement from ISKCON when it comes to any global, major global events. When there was COVID-19, when there is a major shift, the Ukraine war, and many other kind of a global concerns like that. But then, in line with the Anandindanam's questions, yes, we can understand that the movement is not, members are not perfect. But then the fact means that when we look at the leadership of the movement, and we have personality like Bhakti Maharaj, Guru Maharaj, who was very powerfully preaching in this mood. But it becomes somehow difficult to find many others preaching. I know His Holiness Radhanath Swami also preaches in that kind of a mood. But we don't have many of our gurus having that perspective, even though they're trying. But I think the influence is not that much. His Holiness Radhanath Swami also, when he was in Mauritius, I think, in his last visit, he also tried to meet with the president of that country. But I think there is supposed to be more of this. So what my question is, what can we do to drive the need for more of this? Because the more we are able to actually reach the leaders of the society, the more we can inject Krishna consciousness. And also Prabhupada said that he quoted in one of his Bhaktivedanta purport that the Krishna consciousness or any religious organization cannot infiltrate or cannot be accepted by the general populace if the leadership of the nations are not accepting it or they are supporting to push it. And he quoted the Buddhist tradition and all of that. So what do you have to say to that?
So mainly, of course, I follow the trend that goes on in terms of what's actually going on in the name of preaching to the society from our organization to the society. It's not, I don't really call it preaching. It's more of an appeasement. For example, whatever happened in the war, is society, they issue a statement, this and that. It's an appeasement, it's going along with the world. Just like Prabhupada said that, if the people should know what I'm doing, they will kill me if they should know what I'm doing. Because we know the society, the devotees, they're not interested in this world, things becoming so-called peaceful and everyone just go along, but without God consciousness. So, but many devotees are very good in meeting the leaders, but likely they meet the leader for the photo opportunity. That's what I say. They meet the leader for give them some books, But this they don't. You give them book, they don't even read the book. They don't read. They don't even read the book you give them. So because you know, if the mood that let's say we are meeting a particular leader, but you know that this person himself is a suffering jiva, is a suffering living entity. What's the mood? What kind of approach you are taking towards towards such a person in terms of making them understand the teachings of Krishna consciousness. I know that in the early days, that attempt was made in the early days, especially by Bhakti Maharaj, because I was with him that time. So I know perfectly because I was eyewitness. The Maharaj that time he did as a matter of fact, he make every effort to create impact among the leaders. I know that especially the time he met Kane Kaunda when he met Kane Kaunda in Kenya. When he met Kane Kaunda in Kenya, whereby a 30-minute meeting, supposed to be 30 minutes, turned out to be several hours meeting. And the president was so much into what Maharaj have to say that after the dinner, the state dinner, which was after the state dinner, the president of the country, he kept Maharaj in discussion. What did you have Maharaj to say? For the next 3 to 4 hours. For the next 3 to 4 hours after the state dinner. So, I remember the time when the first time of meeting with Muhammad Ali, the kind of approach that Maharaj made in meeting Muhammad Ali, so much so that Muhammad Ali became very influenced that he was coming to our temple, our center himself. When Muhammad Ali came to Nigeria, he came to ISKCON Lagos temple. And also in our center in Washington, D.C., he came there a few times. These are because of the impact, So which Maharaj did not meet those people because of some photo opportunity. He made them because he wanted to really impress them about the gift of Krishna consciousness. But unfortunately, I would say, we don't have such bold preachers anymore. We don't have them anymore. Everything is all about appeasement. Let's issue a statement, Just like now, the Queen of Queen Elizabeth, she died. Now society is going to issue a statement that with this. And what is that to me? What does statement want? Of what benefit does it really achieve? Except recognition. Oh, the Hare Krishnas are good. Hare Krishnas are part of us. Just to get some applause from them. But let's, when the slave accident, when he was preaching to the British rulers that time, he invited them to the Gaudiya Math. And he said that if I have to prepare meats for these people to accept, so for them to listen to the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, he said that I'm ready to do that. If I have to give them meat to eat, I'm ready to do that. If that's what it will take for them to hear the message of the time of it. So our real interest is giving the message, not so much to go to their meetings, to issue some statement with them. That's not our purpose. Our purpose is how to get them to accept this, because if they accept this message, they can influence other people. They can influence others. They can influence others if you get them to accept the message. That's the real preaching of the devotees. So like myself, I'm not, it's not, for me, I like to follow that part. The footstep of someone like a Bhakti Maharaj or Srila Bhaktivedanta, I like to follow that footstep. Srila Prabhupada, I want to follow their footsteps because they preach boldly. And of course, they are Krishna conscious themselves. They are Krishna conscious themselves, because after all, if you are not Krishna conscious, how are you going to preach? So which means you have to practice. You have to follow what you practice. That's our motto. Follow what you practice. You need to follow, you need to practice. Giving up any other consideration. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur say, Jivedoya Krishna Nam. Jivedoya Krishna Nam. What is that there? Jivedoya, which means Jivedoya Krishna Nam Samadama. So he said that have this for Krishna, Jivedoya, be compassionate to the jivas. Be compassionate to the jivas. But how do you become compassionate to the jivas? You be Krishna conscious. And then you become compassionate to the jivas. Then you find your preaching, you find the acceptance of your preaching become smooth that way. So there is a much more we can talk about. Krishna consciousness is Krishna consciousness part is a very, very beautiful part. It's a very beautiful part. But it's up to us to really manifest that beauty by our own acceptance, by our own practice, by our own following. I hope that's okay.
Thank you so much. You done justice to the question. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Any other question, comments? Is Grace Manvara Charya Prabhu? Mother Gayatri Devi, Mother Loka Devi Prabhu wants you to speak. Okay, Arichakra Prabhu, please kindly unmute.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Arichakra Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavad Pranam. Thank you very much for the lecture and the answers you've been giving. But I'm going back to the question Anandini Dhanam Prabhu asked. Yeah, all the analogies that you gave about the hospital, that the hospital might be perfect and all those but the people in the hospital might not, because everybody is sick. So, and we'll all be getting treatment. We will all be responding to the treatment according to, individual, capabilities. Yeah, perfect. But like, it's not you alone. Yesterday, the speaker and what you also spoke today during your lecture, it's like we emphatically we are stating that in the lecture, and I'm talking about what you said, that we are emphasizing that we know the solution to the world problem. And like you were saying that the leaders, the previous kings, they were so righteous, they were so godly, and that because of that, they affected the citizens automatically. And once everybody becomes pious like that, then whether the Mother Earth likes it or not, you will have to produce, you will have to supply the basic needs of existence. And now we see that we are lacking all that. So Anandini Dhanam's question is, if we know as people trying to practice Krishna consciousness, if we know this principle, and there is a saying in my language that I'll say, like if a nude person says he'll give you clothes, you should first listen to his name. That's how it literally is translated, that someone who doesn't have nothing, if he claims he will give you something, then you should first listen to his name to know what he has. So the thing is, we know the solution to the problem. We have read it. The scripture is telling us, the hospital is giving us all the solution. But we know that if people want to even listen to us, like most people, they want to look at what we are doing before they will even have the ears to listen to us. So if we ourselves, our little society, like if you come to my temple and the little temple that I'm in, if somebody comes there and he's not seeing the cohesion, he's not seeing the love, he's not feeling that, intense sort of, relationship amongst ourselves, then how are we going to be able to tell this person that what we are doing can make him happy? He looks as if we are looking miserable, and we are telling him we can make you happy whilst we are looking miserable. So I'm thinking it's something deeper than we just look at it. So can you actually expand a little bit more? Of course, you are the answer you gave, Anandini Dhanam. I perfectly what do we call it? Understand it, but I'm a little bit confused too, because it looks as if that we are trying to present something that we ourselves don't have.
Yeah, this, I think I addressed that also, that what we don't have, we cannot give to anybody. You know, especially as you have said, that, you know, people come to our temple and there's a lot of tension there. So what are they going to get out of it? Which means these people themselves, they're talking about peace, but they're not peaceful among themselves. So where's the preaching? You know. So preaching actually come with behavior. There's what we call prachara, and there's what we call achara in Sanskrit. Prachara and achara. Sanskrit prachara means preaching, and achara means behavior. So when Chaitanya Prabhu, when he was talking with Hare Krishna, he said, some preach nicely, but do not behave nicely. And some behave nicely, somebody are not good preachers. But you, Hare Krishna, you are both good, perfect behavior and perfect preacher. So therefore, you are the acharya for the whole world. You are the acharya, the real acharya. So which means, unless we become acharya, which means our behavior and our preaching is in line together, then we cannot really call ourselves, preaching in reality. Because when there's so much envy among between the devotees, when there's so much envy, the devotees are when someone's when someone cannot tolerate the advancement of others. So much tension in the temple, it's all due to the envy among the devotees. It's just like, I remember one time, I think it was 1995 or something like that, when Srila Gogovina Maharaj in Mayapur, normally you go to the GBC meeting, and he will not speak, normally he only chant. But as one time he raised his hand to speak. He said that, it was addressing the GBC that you don't have love in your heart. That all of you don't have love in your heart. You have so much hate for one another. So therefore, how can you really make a proper situation? Just like now, we're having a situation now whereby we're having one of our top leader, who's been given so much harassment by other leaders, because he did something some 30 years ago, and some they want to see, oh, maybe we should bring him down because of something he did some 30 years ago. So they want to bring him down now. Even though no matter what we say, according to the scriptures, still, they just want to see how they want to bring this person down. Even though this person is one of the great, with so much love by the devotees, so much great propaganda, good. It's like it brings so much shining light to the moment. But you just have certain people, who just cannot tolerate his existence. They want to see how they can break him down. So when you have this kind of thing, how can this encourage the younger devotees? This cannot encourage younger devotees. When the people at the top themselves, when you are the one who have this high level of politics, high level of hatred, among each other. So therefore, how can the younger devotees be encouraged? It is difficult. It is difficult. So that's why it's always said that Krishna consciousness is not it's a self thing. It's not like something that is, as they say that when you go to a flying school where you learn how to fly the plane, at the graduation, after graduation, now you have to fly your plane, you have to fly your own plane. So it's not something, which means it's not something that when you have to fly a plane, it's not something that is done as a group anymore. Now you've passed you got your license now. Now you have to fly your own plane. So Krishna consciousness is because it's like that now. You have to really fly your plane, you have to learn how to fly your own plane, which means so many difficulties will be there. Just like yesterday, I was flying yesterday, I was in the I was coming from one place to another place yesterday. And all of a sudden, the pilot announced, okay, now we are now having sometimes the plane starts shaking. It's taking some time. Maybe because of there's heavy wind. So now we're now entering the what do you call it? Second of it, I forgot what they call it. Anyway, say okay, all this passenger fasten your seatbelt, because now we are into this kind of shaking, whatever. So as a pilot, you have to learn how to navigate all that. And you're alone. Nobody, another person is going to help you because you're alone in the plane cockpit. You're alone. Nobody's going to help. So you have to learn how to navigate your way. So similarly, also as devotees, flying to the spiritual world is like that. We have to go alone. And we have to go alone. Because we're alone. We're alone. So, which means in your bodies of circumstance, you're alone. But you cannot, which means it's not that you have to depend on others. It means you have to really take it with deep seriousness. That yes, I must attain the goal. No matter the difficulties, I must attain the goal. Because that side, that when you reach that place, is very, very, very bright, very, very glorious. But reaching that part is full of so many stones, so many stumbling blocks there. And especially Maya is always there. In all kinds of ways, Maya is there. Maya will not let you go easy. No. Maya will not, because why? You've been in this material world for so long time to be the enjoyer. You think Maya is going to let you go easy? No, she's not going to let you go easy. Maya will not allow you. So therefore, we have to sit we're alone. We have to fly our plane alone. And our solace, our energy will come by depending on Guru, on Krishna. Our prayer, our seriousness in chanting, all this has to be there. So, it's like that. Again, of course, when it comes to preaching, we have to, if you want to preach, then we have to pray to the Lord to become his instrument. In terms of, because the Lord says that no one is more dear to me than one who preaches. So we have to pray to the Lord so that we can become his instrument, so that something nice can come out of our mouth. And then somebody can be influenced by what we say. Okay, thank you very much. I hope I'm able to address some issue. Your question can be addressed in many different ways, but this is just the way I can see it now.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Sriman Ishwara Prabhu. I think we will have to stop here because I know it's very late in India now, and you will need to rest in good time to be able to attend Mangala Arati. So thank you very much for giving us your time. We appreciate all of the devotees for participating in this lecture and staying back up to this moment. We thank you so much. At this moment, I request.
By the way, Prabhu, what is it something? Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu, I think he was busy. I called earlier. Prabhu, if you are free, you can speak with us.
Are you alive, Prabhu?
I think he's probably busy somewhere. Sometimes he's just listening to the lecture and then busy with some activities.
I see.
So anyway, we'll be hearing him some other time. So thank you so much, all of the devotees. We'll request all of you to kindly unmute right now and then let us loudly appreciate this. Yes, Ishwara Prabhu for this. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Kirtanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namaha. Yay.
Hare Krishna. Hare.
Like I said, for the commemoration of leaders, I think my hand works. I'm going to play this video, please.
Okay, so I'm going.
Operation London Bridge. That's the code name given to the plan in place for the days and weeks after Queen Elizabeth II's passing. The Queen has been sitting on the royal throne since 1962. That's the longest reign of any monarch in British history. And during that time, she's seen over a dozen UK prime ministers, nearly 20 Summer Olympics, and over half a dozen popes. The Queen is the cornerstone to the patron to almost 600 organisations and charities, and plays a pivotal role in the UK's alliance with many countries. So her passing will bring about a lot of change, not just for the United Kingdom, but potentially the world. Her private secretary, the Right Honourable Edward Young, will immediately pass a message on to the acting Prime Minister. That message will likely read, down. The Prime Minister will then set Operation London Bridge into action. Within minutes, the 15 governments outside of the UK, the Queen's head of state, will be informed in a secure line. And that will be followed by the other 36 Commonwealth nations and leaders around the world. The gates of Buckingham Palace will then dawn black. At the same time, a news flash will alert around the world. Every media outlet is prepared for this. Every radio station has a network of lights that will flash a national catastrophe such as this. All BBC shows will stop and proceed to run a feed dedicated to the news. Newsreaders will change into the black suits and clothing that is on at all times in the news studios. And the traditional red BBC News branding will turn black. Newspapers, TV channels, and radio stations have days of coverage ready to go. On the same day as her death, the Queen's eldest son, Charles, will immediately become king. And it's reported that the stock exchange, businesses, and shops across the UK will likely close for the day out of respect. The day after the Queen's death, on a live stream, Charles will make his first official speech as king. And the government will swear its allegiance to the sound of a 41-gun salute in Hyde Park, London. After that, King Charles, if it is the name he chooses, will set off on a UK tour, visiting the leaders of government in the capitals of each country, Edinburgh, Belfast, and Cardiff, before returning to London. During this period, TV channels will play the many documentaries already made in the Queen's honour, and the BBC will refrain from playing comedy shows as a sign of respect until after the funeral. 4 days after her death, the Queen's coffin was led on a military procession from Buckingham Palace to Westminster Hall. Here she will lie in state over the next 4 days, and after which King Charles, family and dignitaries will pay their respects. Then the doors will open to likely hundreds of thousands of people queued up outside. The funeral is estimated to take place 10 to 12 days after the Queen's passing. But one thing is certain, the day of the funeral will be an official bank holiday for the whole of the United Kingdom. The stock exchange will close for a second time in under 2 weeks, and many businesses will follow suit. At 11 a.m. sharp, the bells of Big Ben will chime, the country will fall silent, and the coffin will be brought inside Westminster Abbey, where 2,000 specially invited guests will bow their heads in prayer. After the service, the coffin will be taken to Windsor Castle, and then finally to St. George's Chapel, where Queen Elizabeth II will likely be laid to rest next to her father, King George VI. Likely within a year after the funeral, an official coronation for King Charles will take place on yet another bank holiday. All in all, accounting for the multiple bank holidays, funeral expenses, and coronation celebrations, the Queen's passing is estimated to cost the UK economy billions of pounds. In addition, hundreds of changes will happen across the UK in the months to come. New British currency will be printed with the King's portrait, and the Queen's currency will slowly be removed from use. The same will happen for stamps, passports, and police and military uniforms, and the national anthem will be changed to God Save the King. Not to mention how the world and Commonwealth will react to the new king could alter the British royal family forever. For example, there is growing support in Australia for the country to become a republic, and the Queen's death could heighten that support. This could lead other countries to follow suit, which would almost certainly weaken the British monarchy. This scenario will one day be upon us. Operation London Bridge will be triggered, and arguably the biggest funeral of our lifetime will be witnessed around the world. This will be the end of an era.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you so much for staying back to watch this. In the whole of the videos that we've just 5-minute video we've watched, doing this in solidarity to the UK government and the world leader, powerful world leader. But the most important thing for me in this video is that we see a kind of an organized system, organized planning, an organized focus on what is expected to be done. In other words, there is no there's so much of proactiveness, not reactions, because several months, years before the Queen passes on, there's already a template there of what is to be done. And that's what it means to be organized. And I think our movement could borrow a leaf from that. Thank you so much, devotees, for being here. We appreciate you for being part of this program today. We'll be on this live SRIMAD Bhagavatam class again tomorrow at the same time. Oh, sorry, today is Friday. I almost forgot. Thank you, Krishna, for reminding me. So today is the last day of the week for our SRIMAD Bhagavatam class, and we'll reconvene again on Monday, which is supposedly the 12th of September, 2022. So we'll have a weekend of activities depending on what we have already scheduled for individual one of self. Bhagavatam class and all of that, Bhakti studies and all of those weekend activities. So, but we thank all the devotees for staying back. May Guru and Krishna be with each and every of us. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna. So we'll see you again on Monday. Hare Krishna.